So if you don't mind just telling me your name and kind of telling me what brought you to this, if you could pinpoint, anything in your life that has caused, these struggles to come upon you, and maybe even just it could have been growing up, or it could have been, a drug addiction, or whatever it was that kind of brought you here. We could talk about that first, and then we'll go into some other things. Regina, do you mind starting?
Yeah. What was the question?
I'm sorry, it's okay. Do you want me to start on the other end?
Yeah.
Okay. Charisse?
I'm Charisse. I'm a single mom with 7 kids who are in foster care right now. But it's been 8 months. If I had to pinpoint where my struggle started, my mom was a drug dealer, my dad was a drug dealer. So it didn't look very good for me starting out. But I didn't use drugs until 2 years ago, probably. Dropped out of school because I had my second hit when I was 19. And then I went and got my GED because I wanted to be at home with my kids. But then I started hanging around the wrong people, mainly family. Had to move in with them and then just fit in with that crowd. So then, of course, my boyfriends were all drug dealers and all that. So I just bought a trailer in Barling so that I would have moved in with all my bad family members. And I bought it March 7th, and my kids got taken away March 14th because I got caught with my boyfriend when we were selling drugs because he wouldn't get a job. But then it just kind of unraveled since then. And I've been up and I've been down, but right now it's going pretty good. So I'm not a very good speaker, but if you have questions, I'm going to answer them.
We'll come back around to your successes so far. I know you worked really hard. You mind, Patricia?
Yeah. When DHS came to my door, I was at my mother's house, and my mother's not the most stable person. I think the biggest things that I lacked were life skills to even feel confident that I could do it by myself. Obviously, getting a job that is sustainable was a biggest part of my struggles. I never thought that she could do it by herself. So we've been living with family for probably the past 4 years. I think budgeting is a big problem in my life, paying bills, because with little income, it's hard to decide if you pay your rent or buy food. So those are things that I'm working with.
Thank you. Amanda?
I'm Amanda. I have 2 kids. They were taken into foster care over the summer. The main reason that they were taken into custody was because my fiance and I had been using drugs, and we were arrested. We didn't have anybody to take our kids, to hold on to them until we got out of jail. So DHS came and got the kids. We worked really hard to get them back. I became really depressed after moving here, not having any family, any friends. I didn't know anybody, so I started to use drugs to kind of replace that sadness, trying to make myself happy. And I haven't used drugs since that day, and I got my kids back.
Gina?
I have 7 children, but 3 are adults, and I have my 4 with me in Arkansas. I lived in my own place, and I'm actually visually impaired, and relied on a lot of friends and family to help me. And I had a family member who moved, and I didn't have support through my family anymore. I ended up leaving my home with my children to move in with my dad at his apartment. And after spending a lot of my money to accommodate my kids, the landlord told us we had to leave because there was too many people. And then I ended up with the Community Rescue Mission, and we're working on a plan there.
All right, y'all are gonna speak up really as loud as you can without yelling, because, in order to get to the back, so, but thank you. I know you have all done, a lot of hard work to fight for your family. And tell me about, why you keep fighting, and maybe some of the things that you've done, maybe the mindset changes that had to happen in order for you to get there. You wanna talk about that first, Therese?
I didn't start off very well at the beginning. I did, but then I backslid a little bit because I got caught with that same guy again. Then I was like, well, they took my kids away again, so I'll just start using drugs. Like, it's over for me now. And then I only did it once.
Real loud.
Kind of forgot where I was going with that.
Sorry. Talk about your fight for your children and why you fight for your children.
Yeah,
Your family.
I'm 5 months clean now, all the way, like, stopped. But I had to get to that breaking point where I was like, okay, God, I get it. They deserve better than me. And then I started going to church, honestly, and then had a better outlook on, like, I can get them back if I want them back, you know what I mean? And actually, my kids get to go to church with me for the first time Sunday.
Right.
So definitely had to change my mindset to go anywhere good, but.
I think it's simple for me why I fight. My kid, I love him. I miss him. He's an amazing person. And also because my childhood I was in foster care, and I had an instability from childhood, and I don't want that for him. I want him to have a better life and feel loved and cared for.
In the beginning, when our children were first taken, the goal was simple. It was just to get our kids back as fast as we could, and we bugged DHS about what we could do before we even went to court and found out what our requirements would be. We tried to do everything just to get it started so that our kids could come home as soon as possible, and we did that. We got our kids back in 2 months, which is crazy. It doesn't happen. It's a hard process. When we got our kids back and we started finishing our DHS requirements, like parenting class and stuff, I started to get bored because DHS, they kept me busy. So I had my kids back, I was completing the stuff, our case wasn't over, but I needed something to fill that. So I want to turn what our family went through into a positive experience. I want this to be something that our kids can be proud of. I want them to see that, my daughter's 2, but my son is 12, so he knows what's going on. I want him to see that we made these mistakes and he knows everything that we did, but we're working hard to be the parents that they deserve. My husband works full-time. He works very hard to provide for us. I work with Karen on Mondays in our office to help people in situations like us, because you need support, even with all the resources and help with housing and bills and food and things like that. You need people to be on your side, because it's hard to find allies when you have kids in foster care. You're immediately looked down upon. If you lose your kids, you've lost everything, and it's hard to find people to have your back. So that's what I hope to turn this into.
I fight for my kids because they deserve it. And they're little people with futures. And I never gave up. I never gave up. They, by me, residing over at the mission, we have case management there, and we have short-term and long-term goals. And we were talking about trusting the process. And I've had different agencies come together, and I'm provided a safe environment for my children, clean environment, and I have my children all get good grades, and it's staying that way. And it's especially important that my 16-year-old, he's got perfect attendance, and he's kept it, and he's a second-year ROTC, and he's in the Raiders and drill and men's choir, and he's used in school as a career too, and he wants to go into the Air Force, and I want to make sure that I don't blow it for him. Because he does have a future. All my children do, and I don't want them to shy away from that and be confident.
So some of you hit on this a little bit already about the organizations that have helped you and how the community has helped you whenever maybe your family or friends or whoever else has kind of maybe let you down. Could you talk a little bit about how the community has helped you, or how 100 Families has come in through these different organizations and been a support to you? Truth?
Yeah, Karen is, I text her all the time, like, you're my guardian angel, because she helped me pay for a birth certificate. That was a crazy day. And just so I could get an ID to start this part-time job.
If you want an 8-hour volunteer task, that's about how long it'll take you to go track down all the documents to get a birth certificate for someone. Go ahead.
Yeah, we went a big circle several times on it. But finally I got it, and then that started my job. And the DHS actually kept telling me, like, here, call these people, because my caseworker was a new caseworker at the time. And she's like, I don't know a whole lot, but I feel like this place is gonna help, you know, so that's how I got in touch with Karen. Because I finally called. And then now I'm supposed to start Future Fit classes on the 27th. And she's definitely been there even in my downfall. They've helped a lot. And DHS has too, as much as I used to would try to bash them. They've definitely been there, and they do help as much as they can. You know, most of them. So.
Yeah, I can't say that I totally agree with everything that happened that day that Noah was taken, but I do know that he has a safe, nice family. He's got new clothes. He's got anything that I would want him to be provided for. I think that's the biggest thing. I know that he's safe, and I know that he's okay. Right now, housing, working on getting HUD housing. We found a place that we're gonna go look at afterwards today. The other part of the DHS that has really been helpful is anytime I have an appointment that has to do with my son and I don't have transportation, they will come and take me. They took me to counseling. DHS brought me here today. So yeah. That's good.
We had a few different issues at the time of our children's removal. We were falling behind on rent. We needed resources to help us with rent. So Karen helped us get that. We were facing our electricity being cut off. They showed us the CSCDC to get assistance with our electricity. Our daughter slept in the bed with us, so a DHS requirement was that we needed to have a crib for her in order to start unsupervised visits at home. So the care portal helped us to get a crib. Whenever we fell behind on, my husband has a fine, and whenever we fell behind on payments, the judge was glad to set up an arrangement that we could afford, change his court dates around for his work schedule. Karen helped us to get bus passes when we couldn't drive our car anymore. I think that's it, but it might not be. We got a lot of help that we really needed to get this process going so quickly.
I put in an application with the CSCDC, and they're helping me with arrears in my old utility bills, and then they're gonna assist me with deposits for the future, for my utilities, and also for housing. I'm also looking into we're in the process of working the mainstream voucher, and actually, my children are, we're working with Jeannie Carroll. Jeannie Carroll is the liaison through the schools that have helped us. She's helped us with bus passes and school supplies, and my children have gone to it's the warehouse for the kids where they can choose their clothes and get a couple pairs of shoes and all. And I'm very, very grateful and very thankful for that. And in the meantime, like I said, we're at the mission where the Community Rescue Mission has provided us a safe and clean and healthy environment, and we do have other residents there. We also friendly residents and professional security, and but they provide us beds, and I have a handicapped accessible restroom. They provide us everything from meals and clothing down to Q-tips and cotton balls, and so it's one less thing for me to worry about, and I'm able to save and stay focused.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So I know that some of you are still, working really hard, and it still sometimes you can feel like there's no end in sight, and sometimes it feels like you can do this, and I know you go back and forth between those two, and we all do in our own struggles. I mean, we all feel that way from time to time. Tell me about, a struggle that you're dealing with still now, and how and what you need from the community, whether it be from employers or from child care facilities or from churches, or what can the community do to help you now where you're at?
I don't really know how to answer that question because I've gotten way more help than I ever saw anyways. So I don't know how they could help me more, but I am that person who keeps getting a job, but when my kids got taken, I just got a felony, so I go to a lot of court dates for my kids, and in Barling and in Sebastian County all the time. So it's just, that's definitely
You're
hard.
looking for a job.
I am, I'm looking.
So, yeah, she really is. And with the felony on her record, it's hard. I mean, you found some part-time things, and then you found some things, but flexibility is important for your schedule right now with 7 kids, and you get them all weekend this weekend, so that's great. So anytime she gets a chance to see her kids, I know she's calling the employer. No, that's okay. I mean, that's important. It's important time for you, really. Is there anything else?
I was just gonna say, like, through everything, I have to say that I'm very blessed because even, I had to learn the hard way to love myself because I wasn't loving my kids the way that they deserved. So now I feel like, even though it looked like disaster at the time, it's a blessing in the end, because I couldn't buy them Christmas or anything, you know, and they got everything they wanted. And I'm blessed for the foster family that my kids are at, because they supply me with food, and they bring my kids to me. They donated a van to me for my kids. Like, I've had so much help, and I'm very blessed, really.
So good, thank you, y'all are amazing, I mean, really. I loved whenever she told me that she was giving a van, she had, I mean, that's something, you can't, take 7 kids on a bus, and you can't do that in Marling anyway, so it was such a
I have
blessing.
tickets for that.
Yes, and I just got a quick Christmas story to tell you about.
Yes.
You want to tell us
Yeah,
a
'cause
Christmas miracle?
I didn't tell y'all everything she helped me with, because just the ID and stuff, that she's also paid to get the car fixed a few times. And then my electric got shut off 2 days before Christmas, but I was fixing to get my kids for Christmas Eve. The whole day, it was the first time they get to stay the night again. And everybody came together. My pastor from the church gave me $100 for Christmas. Karen paid $100, and one of my friends gave me $100 to pay my electric, and it was on before I got back home. So I called DHS and was like, "It's on, let me see them, please." So I sent her pictures, and I'm like, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for everybody else, like,
Yeah.
because it was not looking very promising on Friday, but by Monday, it was, my kids were there, so.
And also she had gotten a Christmas tree, and this girl is so creative. She sent me pictures of, they were making Christmas ornaments out of the box it came in. The kids were cutting them out, colored them, and because we had gotten her a Christmas tree but no ornaments, but she figured it out. I thought that was so cute. All right, Patricia.
Right now I'm working on housing. I'm interested to learn about the career thing, maybe start those, I need to find a sustainable job where I won't need help, where my family won't need to have any kind of assistance. That would be good. I can't wait to, I think another biggest need that we will need will be to fill the house up with furniture, because we don't have anything.
So we got to a point where we didn't need any help. Everything was great. My husband is working full time. I'm on disability, so that's not a lot of income, but it's very helpful. And then my husband wrecked our car, so which was an issue that we were having while our kids were gone and everything. So we got familiar with the bus route and that system. Right now, he works overnight, so he's having to pay $10 every day to get to work, and then $10 again to get home. So that's really expensive. But Karen just told me about the fixed route.
Demand,
Yeah.
demand route, pay $3 instead of $10 or $10.
When he has to be at work at 9, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
But when he has to be at work at 6, that helps because he works a lot of 12-hour shifts and yeah, has a lot of crazy hours. So that can help us sometimes. But having like an overnight bus route, I know there are a lot of people out there that work overnight and don't have their own car, and the cab is super expensive. Uber is even more expensive. And you're stuck waiting on the cab company. I know that they're really busy and that it's not necessarily their fault, but sometimes we'll call an hour and a half ahead and they'll be there in 10 minutes or they'll be there an hour later. It just depends. So right now we're just kind of dealing with that until tax time where we can buy another car.
Jennifer? Sorry. What's her name? Regina. Regina. I just met Regina today, I'm sorry. I was saying the wrong name.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think that, I'm really confident, with my plan. And I know that, we're gonna need some furniture and the kids are gonna want their things, but I think that more, I would like to get a deep freezer so I won't have to leave the house so much to go shopping, like for food. I like to stock up because, you know, sometimes it's a struggle to go out and the transportation's not the greatest. But, I think that, just I think I'll just need time and we'll just build. And I think it's okay to, kind of just start off small and, I don't want to go beyond our means. If I can't afford something, I just want to, I want to be able to provide my kids with, the necessities, but it would be kind of a challenge and fun to build, together and make our house our home.
I'm gonna open this up to y'all. Do any of you have any questions for our panel today? Well, yes. Say it real loud.
You mentioned you were in foster care as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you mind, like, how old were you?
I was 13 years old. My dad was an alcoholic, and it was my family hasn't been a family, so I almost aged out of foster care.
So a lot of those life skills, do you think they were ever like taught to you through the system at all?
No, I don't. That's something that I did write about. Life skills is a really big. I don't have them, and then I honestly I don't know how to be a healthy family because I never had a healthy family. So.
And that's what we're trying to prevent by making parents well again. You make children well again, and so I mean, I know a lot of times we naturally, you know, kids are cute, and so we naturally, you know, want to help and support them, and that's good. But these parents are an integral part to their child's success, and I'm thankful for a community that sees that, and you have, because you're here, and you're here month after month after month, and you are when we call on, you know, you or you're there to provide the additional support for these families, and it's amazing. Yes. Anybody else? I'm sorry.
I really ain't got a question, but I wanna tell the ones that are addicts, you can do it. It's gonna be a struggle, everyday struggle. I'm 23, coming on year 23 clean. I did drugs most of my life as a teenager. So don't think that you can't do it because it's hard, but you can. You just gotta keep pushing forward and pushing forward. And if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your babies. All right?
Anyone else have questions?
Yeah. Are any involved in, you said you're going to church, are you guys involved in any AA or NA meetings, groups, stuff like that?
I just started going to Dennis's recovery at classes at the Evangel Temple.
I'd like to encourage you guys to get involved with that. The accountability for the stuff that you're going through right now will be one of the things that will help to keep you sober. I lost my kid 7 years ago. I haven't seen my son in 7 years. I'm currently incarcerated right now. Let me tell you, they got a spot for you. You gotta do it. You got to. Looking forward to seeing my daughter get out in 2 weeks. I'm working on getting towards getting my counselor's license and helping do that stuff. I know what you're going through, man. I've been there. There wasn't a chance for me to get my son back. You know, with your, you have to have all your court issues resolved. Well, I had a 30-year prison sentence, so it wasn't a question for me. You guys got a chance. You're free. You're going home this afternoon. And don't mess it up because they're counting on you. You know, and they want to be at home. see them, you don't wanna know what it feels like. You don't have to, and they don't tax you. You know, my son's 5, last time I saw him. And now he's kind of grown, you know, I don't even know who he is now, because he's gone through the most important development stage of his life without him. So, don't mess it up. Get involved, service to others, and, love yourself. You know, one of the girls at the church I go to, she's working on a book that she's writing, and one of the things, marry yourself for 30 days. Treat yourself like you would want someone else to treat you. You know, and do that as an exercise to help build yourself up. But, you know, be involved with AA, NA, be open about your struggles, talk to somebody, have a support network, have somebody you can call, have a couple people you can call. Because this is important, man. You might not get a second chance, you know. So, don't mess it up.
One thing he said just broke my heart is, because I've been a foster parent, many of you have as well, but he said they want to be home, and that is the truth. These kids love their parents, and they want you in their lives more than anybody else. They want you, and so yes, fight for them, and for yourself. Thank you for that. So some of you have told me about your spiritual journey, and if you want to just tell more about that, about how you know how God has made a difference in your life, and not required by anybody, but if anybody wants to jump in.
I definitely do, because I've had a journey. I actually graduated 2 12-step programs, one that DHS made me go to, and then I graduated on the 3rd, and I failed a drug test on the 4th. The day before I went to court for my kids. And so then they wanted me to do that same thing again, but I was like, it obviously didn't work. It did. I just didn't. You know, it works if you work it. But I had a drinking problem. See, I have drug charges, but I was never, obviously I did drugs, but that wasn't my problem. I had a drinking problem. So I wanted to fix that before DHS found out about it. So I joined a church, Victory, and because of Christine Schaefer, I met her in jail. And I just graduated that December 26th or something. And now that's my church family, and like I said, my kids get to go to church with me for the first time this Sunday, and I'm so excited about it. But God's definitely made an impact on my life. Like I said, I gave up. It was like, I keep backsliding, so they obviously deserve better than me, you know? And I had to sit there, I meditated to, I don't even remember what now, some kind of music, and something told me, love yourself, you know? You have to love yourself, or you're never gonna love them like they deserve, so. That's how my journey started, and I'm still at the beginning of it, but I'm so blessed, I'm so blessed. I still have struggles. Obviously, I just lost my job again, but I pray a lot.
I personally, I've had a lot of recent deaths of my sister and my brother. I was definitely angry at God, and I questioned whether if there was a God, but He always seemed to show me in situations that He was there and He was watching out for me. So, and definitely bringing Him back into my life has set the pace of things happening, that it's prevalent that He's there and that He's on my side.
A few weeks after the kids were taken, one of the neighbor kids invited me to a block party at the church that was down the street, and we had tried to find a church, and we didn't really like any of the ones that we had been to, and we kind of gave up on it. And I don't know why we never tried the one that was right next to us, like right next to our apartment building. But I finally went with this little girl, and I met this woman there, and she was asking, you know, all the normal questions. Do you have kids? Like, are you married? All that stuff. And I just blurted everything out. I was like, no, I did drugs and I lost my kids and I messed up my whole life. And she was so supportive and sat there and talked to me the whole time. And I just had this feeling that that was where we were meant to be. So when my husband came home from school that night, I told him, I went to this church, I told this lady everything, don't be mad at me, but we're going there on Sunday, and you're gonna understand. And he's like, I can't believe you told complete strangers that we did drugs. And I know, but I did, and we're going, and we've been every Sunday since then. Our first unsupervised visit was 2 days after we got married, and our kids got to be there, and we got baptized, and it was awesome. And now our son wants to get baptized, and our daughter is 2, and she runs around and runs that church like it's her. It's great. We definitely really felt like we had God in our life for the first time, and it is kind of, it's what held everything together. Every time I would feel discouraged, that's what we go back to, and now that's the rock of our family. God wasn't something that we talked about before. We never really prayed. Our son has always been really into church, but we weren't giving that to him when that wasn't part of our lives. So now he gets to have that back in his life, and he knows more about the Bible than I could ever imagine, and it's great.
Yeah, for the past, since we've been at the mission, my children and I have been going to either the New Life or for the last couple of weeks the Evangel Temple, and it's really good. The kids have a little service on their own, and then we adults are in another section, and then we all come together afterwards, and Wednesday, I believe it was Wednesday, the church band came up for the children in the facility there, and the kids they were pretty wild just from the day and hadn't unwinded yet, and they're just they left in the van and came back just quiet little angels.
That's what happens. Yes.
I apologize, I've got somewhere else that I have to be, but I wanted to say, I applaud you ladies, your courage. Not only your courage for being here today and talking to this group and being so candid and sharing your experiences and your journey, but for having the courage to face your struggles and let other people help, but sometimes that's the most difficult thing to do. I know just based on what I've heard some of you say, you probably had some negative experiences with law enforcement and the system, and I just want to assure you that there are people that are pulling for you. People in all walks, all professions, including your friends and your neighbors in law enforcement. And so anything that I can do, anything we can do to help you, to help those that you know that are struggling in a similar manner, just know that we're here, and I offer my hand in that regard. So I thank you, and I apologize for interrupting and having to step out, but I certainly wanted to tell you that, and keep pushing forward, you too.
Thank you so
Thank
much. So I brought up, spirituality in church. None of that is a requirement for 100 families. I bring it up because I've heard their stories, and the thing is that this is what happens when you show people genuine love, unconditional love, because that's seeing people with Christ's eyes, right? Is loving them unconditionally even when they mess up, and we've been through that, and there's still just as much left, at the end of the day. It's all about loving them through their battles and struggles, and when they really feel that and know that and sense that in their being, then their life has changed and dramatically, and things can get better with your support, so thank you for that. Before we go on to the next part, I've asked Father Paul to just say a prayer for us, because families and all the families, the 142 families in 100 families, and the ones to come, and all the DCFS cases, just want to, if you don't mind, letting Father Paul pray for us.
Yeah, and before we pray, I just wanted to commend our panelists. You know, it's not easy getting up and publicly speaking, and especially when we have to share things that maybe we're not so proud of, and we've had some rough goes of it in life. So let's give our panelists And I want to give a pitch to Paul and Karen and all of you. You know, I'm not from Fort Smith. I moved here 12 years ago from Pennsylvania. My nearest family is 1,000 miles away, but what kept me here is the community and people welcoming me and just the friendliness of Fort Smith. I would have left long ago if that wasn't the case. So I think all of you being here is a great testament to our community and who we are. All of us here are volunteers, you know, and we're here voluntarily. So I hope that you feel, you know, the love from our community. And then want to give a special shout out to Paul and Karen. This is a great, very creative approach to, you know, solving a community problem. It's the kind of things we're going to all need to be thinking of in the future to solve the, you know, whether it's health problems in the community or the things we're talking about here today. So I just wanted to commend all of you for being involved in this great project. So let's quiet our minds and hearts and go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing our community together. We thank you for the successes in life of our panelists and all of those who are going through the 100 Families Initiative. We ask that you bless them in this holiday season, help them to continue to go forward and prosper, reunite them to their children, bring health and healing to their lives. Please continue to bless all of our community partners and working together, and especially Paul and Karen in this initiative. We thank you for all the blessings you provide us. We thank you for these successes. We give you all the praise and glory together with your Son and most Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Paul. Okay.
Yeah,